What's up, everybody? Welcome to the You Are Story podcast. I'm your host, Gabriel Hoff Jr., and it's such a blessing to be able to have this platform to bring y'all this content, to bring y'all all of these stories, all of these guests and everything, because I feel like, by hearing somebody's story, it can help you with yours, which just affirms the fact that you're not just part of the story, but affirms the fact that you are the story. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to just have good conversations. We're here to edify. We're here to grow. And we're here to just, live in purpose and just to find that. So that's my goal here. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're listening to any of the streaming platforms, that's Apple Podcasts or iTunes or Spotify or even Google Podcasts. I haven't mentioned Google Podcasts in a while. Shout out to y'all if y'all are listening on that. But make sure you hit the follow button and leave a rating, leave a review, leave a comment, just anything to help get this platform into the eyes and ears of more people. I feel like, there's a lot that can be taken from all of these episodes in this podcast as a whole. So if you can, I just encourage you to please go ahead and do that. That'll help me out. That'll help this platform out, and it'll help everybody else out, I believe. So, thank you all for doing that. But without further ado, I'm not going to waste any more time. I got a special guest here for y'all today. This is a guy who I've known for a while now. We met actually before I got in high school. We met the summer before high school because one of my guests that I had, the guest I had last week, Mark, me and him played football together in middle school, so we met playing football. Me and the guest I have here today, we also met through football the summer before, and this is a guy who, I've gotten to know throughout the years, and somebody who we've been able to, be living around the same area and just kind of stay in contact every now and then. I got my brother, Isaiah Hamilton. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you, Gabe?
I'm straight, man. I can't complain, bro. I appreciate you being on here, man. Like I said, I like to bring my friends on here because I think a lot of people, within the church and just kind of within my life, they don't really know who my friends are. They don't know who I'm kind of like always in contact with. So it's just cool to kind of introduce my friends to the platform and everything, and just to hear and just to take things away, man. So I appreciate you being on here, bro.
Of course, man. Of course. I appreciate you inviting me here and looking forward to a good conversation.
Yeah, bro. So, something I like to do, man, on each episode, I like to remember when and how I met people. And the reason I like doing that is because I like to see how far, the friendship or whatever has grown and progressed. So like I was talking about in the intro, me and Isaiah, we met playing football in high school. I was a freshman and he was a sophomore at the time. And, for the first half of the summer, I thought I was going to Porter Ridge High School. So I had been going to the Porter Ridge workouts. It was something that was familiar to me. I knew everybody there. I knew the coaches. So I kind of had a set role there already. But I was going to be on JV probably because the school was a lot bigger. But, my mom had other plans. She applied me to CATA. And so I went to CATA, which I'm very grateful for. I really wouldn't be who I am today without CATA. But I went to CATA, and the first people I was introduced to were the guys who played football. And so I went to one of the summer workouts, and the first person I actually met was Elijah. The first person I met was Elijah, and he was kind of showing me around and everything, and you guys were in the weight room. It wasn't a lot of y'all. I think Elijah was there, Clemson, just a few of the guys. I think Kevin was there too, and you were in there, and so Elijah brought me in there, and I think I was the only freshman at the time that had come that day. And so, Elijah brought me in there. I was introduced to y'all. And something I appreciated about you, man, is that, you instantly kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say took me under your wing, but you instantly kind of just like, showed me the ropes and were just willing to kind of show me what's going on. Because I know a lot of times we have like the seniority and the upperclassmen hang out with the upperclassmen, the underclassmen hang out with the underclassmen. And, that's just how it naturally is. But, you kind of helping me out and just kind of just being a friend instantly, I appreciated that wholeheartedly, man. So, my first question to you, man, is, how important was it to you to kind of integrate the underclassmen into kind of that fold through football and also just in the school year in general?
Yeah. So I would probably start off by saying my brother, he went to CATA before me. So kind of like following in the tradition of like being the underclassmen, not hanging with the older classmen, but like kind of getting to know how they do things, how they go about different situations, kind of just passing that on. Honestly, like that's one of the main things I wanted to do. Not like being a copy of my brother, but being able to follow on and what the great things that they did, and then continue to pass it on, and for that to continue to just roll on like a snowball effect, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I remember you were quiet, you were humble, but you were strong, bro. Strong, you were fast, like you were on a whole nother athletic level. As soon as you came in, I was like, this dude's gonna be great. As soon as he comes in, I'm like, I already know, like, coach, sign him up. He's good. He's good. But yeah, man, you were very apt to listening to everything, very humble, very listening ear. But yeah, I do appreciate you coming out and just giving it your all from the get-go, honestly. Because some people will be like a little bit timid, a little bit shy or whatnot, and that's how it is. But still being able to have that and go forward with everything and listen and work hard, that takes a lot. It takes a lot of guts.
Yeah, man, for sure. And, just having that foundation and that group of guys there at the time to just kind of, just giving that advice and just seeing how hard y'all were working. Because, I mean, it was summer. Y'all could be doing whatever y'all wanted because I think those workouts were optional at the time. And also, I think it was a transitioning from coach to coach, right? Coach Griffin wasn't there yet, right?
Yeah, dude. We had so many transitions from coaches. It's crazy.
Yeah. And so just the fact that y'all were in there working out when the future was kind of uncertain at the time, that's something that I definitely noticed. And it was one of those things where, you see your peers working hard. And it's like, man, I don't want to get left behind because you know how they say you're only as strong as your weakest link. And so I definitely don't want to be the weakest link who's holding the team down and everything. So yeah, just seeing y'all working hard, man, that was special, man. But kind of diving into you, bro, like I said, I like to remember when and how I met people. And so I met you at that time in high school, but I honestly, just like everybody who's listening, I'm interested as well in knowing who is Isaiah Hamilton, kind of what built you up to the person that you are today, what experiences, what stories, just kind of your upbringing and everything. Kind of dive into that.
Yeah. So I would say, first off, I was born in Charlotte, basically grew up in Charlotte, grew up in Monroe a little bit too. I grew up in the church, like, a lot. Like, I was on the choir, usher ministry, music ministry as well at some point. Just always being around church members, being around that positive energy, that positive attitude the whole time. I say that was, like, a good bit of what got me into the character that I do have today. And then also, like, one thing that I mentioned to my mom, like, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, it's all the volunteer work she had us doing, and it was not a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
Like, it was in East Charlotte, just, like, handing out lunches, bagged lunches, going to the women's shelter, just helping out people at that young age. I feel like it really opened my eyes to different struggles that people go through, and it really opened like my heart as well to being able to have that empathy, have that, like, not knowing how they feel, but knowing that I can help them in some type of way, even though I was like 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah.
And I feel like just having that base level, like, platform, and then growing off that with all the different things that I've helped out with in my life, I feel like it's just continue to build a bigger base, build a bigger platform for everything else that's yet to come.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say going to CATA as well, it helped me prioritize my different educational things, being able to prioritize different study habits that I needed when I went into college, getting through college, really established a platform. Even though I would say this, even though we weren't that good at sports, it taught me a lot about character.
Yeah,
it taught me
man.
a lot about losing in the best way possible. It taught me a lot about knowing how to lose, basically.
Yeah.
And that's not even a bad thing, though. Like, losing is a part of life, and I don't even call it losing anymore. I call it lessons.
Yeah, man.
Lessons more than else.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. No, I agree for sure. And I think I've said this on past episodes as well. We weren't necessarily the best team, but regardless, we learned character through that. And even though we lost a good amount of games, just kind of figuring out how we can get better from that and learn from that instead of just kind of holding our heads down. And I don't remember or recall many moments where we just kind of held our heads down like the whole day, like just letting it just get to us. So yeah, definitely that character, man, that's important. And I like what you said, not looking at those as losses, but looking at them as lessons. And, even what you were saying too, at such a young age, kind of being exposed and experiencing, seeing, learning the importance of helping people, learning the importance of, kind of being a significant person to somebody else. I think that's important. And, I can definitely see that in you. It's something I definitely have noticed. And, that's something that's definitely important to continue just being who you are and everything. So, yeah, that's what's up, man. But, after having gone through high school and, like you were saying, we're both really big into sports and everything, how did learning about those losses and lessons and stuff, how has that kind of helped carry you throughout your life since high school, through college and just, how you're living now and stuff like that?
I would say a lot about the camaraderie, like being with those people, being like one of my professors called this, it's called a battle buddy. Being in the battle with one of your friends, being in that intense situation with people that you care about, people that you love, being in those hard situations help you grow to being able to help others that's going through those different situations, and also being able to help yourself sustain your emotions to be like, okay, I'm good. If he's good, we're all good. If everyone's good, we're going to be all right.
Yeah.
So just having that camaraderie, having that person to be able to lean on, even when things are rough. Like, just like say you had a bad game or whatnot, like somebody would be upset over a play that they made or a play that they missed or whatnot. We would have people that will come up and be like, it's all right, next play, just keep moving forward, keep moving on. But yeah, just having that person, having those people to have your back, your support team. I feel like that's a very important aspect, not even just throughout sports, throughout your life in general. Just having that support team on your back throughout your life to help you get through those different struggling tasks, whatever they may be.
Yeah, that's facts, man. Definitely having that support to kind of help carry you. Because sometimes, loads can be too heavy to carry by yourself. So if you can have some people who are there to kind of help carry that load and everything, that can go a long way. And kind of getting into, your support system and everything. I remember we played on Fridays, right?
Yeah.
Man, it's been a while, man.
What, like 7 years, something like that?
Yeah, it's been a while. But I remember one Friday night we were going against, I believe, UA. I think this was my junior/senior year.
Yeah, because you graduated early though.
Yeah. Either sophomore or junior, I don't remember. And there was a play, and I was on the sideline at the time, and I think I was on the sideline at the time, and we ran the play. I think we were on defense at the time, and the play ends, and you're kind of there laying, and we see you, and I heard we didn't know what was going on at the time, at least us on the sideline, and then we see some of the teammates coming in. They start doing this and saying, waving their hands, telling someone to come, and they said, his leg's not looking right. And then we had found out that, you had broken your leg. And so when that initially happened, what were kind of the thoughts that were going through your head? Did you notice immediately that something was wrong, or was it one of those things where your adrenaline kind of shadowed it and you didn't notice until you looked at it or till you tried to get up, or what was going on?
So a little bit of both. So at first, whenever the whole So I'll walk y'all through the play a little bit. Defensive play, end of the play. Oh, my bad.
You're good. Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Defensive play, end of the play. Play is over. I'm on the ground. I'm getting up. One of my teammates, he's a lot larger, maybe like 6'3", 6'4", something like that.
Yeah.
300-something pounds. Unfortunately, he loses his balance and then basically just rolls on my leg. Just breaks my tibia, fibula in half. So I hear the crack when it happened, but I didn't really think of anything at that moment. I was like, all right, I don't know what that snap was, whatever. So I'm laying face down on the ground. I try to lift my leg up. I'm like, I can't move my leg. Wait a minute, what's going on? So I try again. I'm like, all right, I think I broke my leg. And so Kevin, you remember Kevin?
Yeah.
He runs over. He's like, oh, no. He sees it. He reacts. I think he runs away, tries like signals in the trainer or whatnot.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, I just broke my leg. And I just kept repeating that over and over. Like, it didn't hurt at that moment because I guess all the adrenaline and whatnot, like it shadowed it. But when I tried to lift it and I couldn't lift it, I was like, all right, I figured I broke my leg. And I heard the snap. I know I couldn't move it, so I was like, this is definitely happening. So they definitely called people over. They made sure I had feelings in my toes. They did all the preliminary tests and whatnot, things like that. That was that. They took me in an ambulance off the field. My IVs were my veins were too small because I was so dehydrated, so they couldn't get an IV in my vein. So I didn't have any painkiller. I didn't have any painkiller going to the hospital. So we tried to go to Monroe Hospital. I think all the beds were filled up or whatnot. So we drive all the way to Charlotte, like 30, 45 minutes, something.
Oh, bro, I didn't even know that.
It was crazy. But I was like, all right, I'm riding into Charlotte, 45 minutes. I have a broken leg, no painkillers. I'm just sitting there like, all right, how is this? I honestly don't even remember what I was thinking at that point. But I do remember that it happened. I remember it was like it felt like forever. But we got there. They tried to get me into the room like maybe 5-10 minutes in, try to like physically force my bones back together. My mom was like, that's not working, it's not working. They like sedated me. And so like whenever they were trying to force it in, like I was like groaning in pain. Like I couldn't physically say like, no, don't do that, that hurts because I was sedated.
Yeah.
But I was groaning and I was like, my mom was like, this isn't working, just give him surgery. So what is it, the next day or whatnot, I ended up having a rod, about 4 screws in my leg, and to this day, those are still there.
Man.
So yeah, it was definitely a lot on the ride there. I would say the recovery process of it was probably the hardest part, and that's a good part of why I got into physical therapy as well, or going to physical therapy. It's just going through that recovery process. And then having the trainer that I worked with, it was actually Dr. Hammers. He was one of the teachers there at the moment, and then also our athletic trainer. I believe his name was Jeff. But, they both helped me, and I would say the emotional aspect of it was probably one of the hardest parts because it's like my senior year, being away from all, like, my teammates, my friends, all this, that, and the third. Just being away from all that really took a toll on me mentally. But having them there, having those words of encouragement, I feel like that was a really, really crucial part of my recovery because not being able to have that confidence in yourself to go back to sports, it's not a good feeling, especially after you've played it like all your life.
Yeah, man.
So it was definitely eye-opening whenever that happened, but having those people help me out as well, like I said, is a big part of why I got into physical therapy too.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that at the end, man, you know, having those people out, because the reason I brought that up is because I was wondering kind of how that support system around you was and how they kind of helped you throughout that whole process, because I can't speak on going through that. I've never, you know, knock on wood, I've never,
knock on wood, bro.
Yeah, I've never, you know, broken anything really, and so the worst thing I've ever had was like a sprained ankle, probably. But yeah, like, you know, I was wondering how that support system was around you and kind of how, because, you know, obviously, like you said, you were away from the team for a good bit. Just kind of, I mean, you were still present at, the practices, and even early on in the basketball season, you were still kind of present in that, but still also having to do that physical therapy kind of in that whole recovery process. And so, us kind of having that responsibility of being on the team, we could be there for you like in school, but kind of outside of school. I was wondering how that support system was around you. So it's good to hear that, it was strong around you and they helped you and everything like that. And even going back to the losses turning into the lessons, not necessarily saying that was a loss because that was kind of like a freak accident, but, just kind of growing through that and persevering and everything. And then, it honestly almost brought me to tears when I saw you post a video on Instagram, I think, of when you like dunked for the first time again. Yeah. So how is that feeling? Like just being able, just trusting your leg enough and just getting that first dunk in since your injury and everything?
First off, I would say it's a blessing. It was a blessing getting through all of that, honestly. Second off, I would say it was what's the word I'm looking for? It's like overcoming something, triumphant.
Yeah.
But yeah, having that feeling to be like, okay, I'm bigger than this now. This isn't going to hold me down. This isn't going to stop me. If I can do this after coming from this, who's to say like what else can't I do? You know what I mean? But
yeah.
Like, it put a lot of motivation in me to do a lot of things that I want to do and a lot of things that I did do. I would say like from not being able to walk, literally having to use crutches every day, having to wake up with those different like tribulations or whatnot, being able to overcome those and being able to have that athletic feat to do that dunk, to dribble the ball, to do my athletic movements again. It definitely gave me a lot of motivation to push through no matter how tough it is. Physically and mentally. Yeah,
and it was unfortunate that we didn't have you for the rest of the football season because it was already a tough season, and just losing kind of like at that point, like our defensive anchor pretty much, for the rest of the year, and then not having you at the beginning of the basketball season, it was definitely tough because you were always kind of like that vocal leader, kind of like that encourager, even though this dude trash talked in practice all the time. I remember there was one time, bro. I remember there was one time, bro. You made me so mad because we scrimmaged a lot in basketball. I think this was after you had already come back from the injury and everything. And someone passed me the ball and I shot it and I airballed. And then this man, he's like, run that back, Gabe, run that back. And so I get the ball again and I shoot another air ball. And he's like, run that back. It made me so mad. It made me so mad,
yeah,
bro.
Dude, I don't know why I was just always trash talking everybody, bro. Juan got it the worst.
Yeah, bro,
Juan got it the worst. But it was all for the best. As bad as it sounds in the moment now, it was all for the best. Like,
no, it was definitely fun, like, because I was mad in the sense that I was more mad at myself than like at you, because I was like, dang, I just proved this man right twice in a row. But yeah, it was definitely fun, and the vibe of practice and just the whole team overall instantly changed as soon as you kind of got back into the fold and everything. Just bringing that energy and stuff just on the court, and just doing the little things too, like not only scoring, but some of the rebounds that we would often let get away from us, just giving that extra motor and getting that rebound and outlet and stuff like that. That was all instantly kind of just like energized. And I'm sure that anybody else on the team would say the same thing. So yeah, I'm definitely glad that, that whole process was a learning experience and everything, and that you didn't kind of just allow it to put you down, but you came back from it and came back, even stronger and everything. And now just to kind of see how that whole process even kind of gave you that purpose of, getting into the PT and everything. That's dope. And I see you doing the workouts and stuff online, posting your workouts and everything. while I'm sitting there, and I'm like, dang, like I need to get in the gym. Like, just kind of seeing that it's motivating for sure, man. So yeah, definitely that's what's up, bro.
I appreciate that.
And so kind of getting past that too, in college you went to Greensboro, right? Yep. Greensboro. So kind of describe how that process was and kind of how your experience throughout college, having went through everything that you went through and kind of learning. How was your approach and mentality going into college?
I would say, like, first, it was definitely a change. Definitely a change from being at home to living on your own in college.
Yeah.
Just being on campus, just having that. What am I looking for? What's the word? It doesn't matter. Just being on campus, like away from everything in a whole new environment. I would say that definitely didn't take a toll, but I would say it opened my eyes a lot. Obviously, you have like your freshman and sophomore like activities, the things that you do. You have your fun, this, that, and the third. Learn to get through that pretty quickly. After that, I would say like I had my fun in college. I learned a lot in college. I do appreciate it. But yeah, it did bring me a lot of the people that I know today, a lot of the friends that I am friends that I'm friends with. That doesn't even make sense. All the people that I'm friends with, like all the connections that I've made in college, has definitely changed my not my personality, but like it's impacted the way that I look at life, the way that I go about things differently as well. I would say being able to be myself in college and still being able to make this, like the same genuine connections that I had in high school that I have in college.
Yeah.
It really helped. It makes me feel good being able to be myself and then to be able to make great friends that I do have. I feel like that's a really big takeaway that I got from it as well. I know it's like a little awkward pause, but
that's all good, bro.
I don't know. Yeah, it was. I did a lot of different experiences in college. I played rugby. I did a bunch of clubs. I was in a fraternity. I was a club president. I did a lot of different things in college, just like that. Just taking the initiative to just try those things. I feel like it helps me out a lot because I don't think I would have tried out a new sport like rugby. That's a whole different world for me. It was called, like I started a club, it was called the Hope Academy Club. There was a school like maybe right down the street from UNCG. It was faith-based, K through 8 now. But what's the word I'm looking for? It was a lower income students. A lot of the students got either walk to school or like got in a school van to get there. So being able to impact those kids positively, I would say that's my biggest accomplishments in college. Like being able, so I started at that school. It was at a class or through a class. It was communications in the community. We had to get maybe 20 hours or something, just helping people out or helping some organization out.
Yeah.
I chose that school because it was right down the street. After all my hours were finished, I liked the school and I liked the staff so much. I stayed there. I helped with like tutoring after school, like whenever I was in between classes. Sometimes they would have like soccer practice, football practice, this, that, or third. Like after, I would help out with that. And then I believe the next summer, I got like a few of my friends, some people that played club football, some people that played a bunch of different sports in college.
Yeah.
I organized like a whole summer camp for that school. So like they got free breakfast, free lunch, T-shirts as well. And they were able to, whenever they got there, what was it, 8:50, 9 o'clock, we would have a faith and encouragement session to start out the day, just to get their minds in the right place. We would do warm-ups after that, drills, and then just free time. So basically just a time for those kids to have something to do during summer if they weren't like traveling or out doing something.
Yeah.
So I would say like being able to do that and help out in that just smallest fashion, that was like probably my biggest accomplishment. And I still have so many memories, so many like things that I remember from that experience. Because I swear I still remember this one exact story. I was leaving the school one day, and this little maybe second or third grader, he's at the top like I think it was the second floor, looking out the window. He was waving at me. I don't even know who the kid was, waving and smiling. I waved and smiled back, and he had the biggest smile on his face, and I will never forget that. Just like those little things really, really impact you a lot. And being able to help the next generation, I feel like was a big factor in that as well.
Yeah, for sure, man. And, I think, kids when they're younger, when they don't have those, adult responsibilities, they're still in that young stage and everything, just seeing how happy they are. A lot of kids, they're simply just happy just to see somebody, or even like you were saying, like, seeing the kid waving and you waving back, that probably, I like to say that there's some moments in our lives or somebody else's lives where something that is so small could have an impact on them and potentially even have an impact on them for the rest of their life. Because, maybe that kid was maybe going through something. I mean, we don't know what he was going through or what his life was like. And so just seeing somebody, wave back and smile at him, that could have made, a big moment in his life. And, that's part of the goal of this podcast too. The reason I call it the reason it's called You Our Story is because, there's some people who are listening that probably have no idea who I am, probably have no idea who you are, but just by hearing some of the things that you're saying, it could help impact them. And we may never know the type of impact it has on them, but because of that, your story has now become kind of intertwined with their story, and they can live on remembering the impact that it made on them. So just hearing that, man, and just seeing how, just being involved in that, with some of the kids and the youth and everything, and just even setting up the camp and being involved in that as well, that goes to show, the type of heart that you have, and also how, when you have that type of heart within you, how it can spread to other people as well. And so that's dope, man. And, that's something that I believe should be celebrated and appreciated. And, you never know, one day these kids may grow up and, when they may grow up and they may be talking to somebody and somebody may ask them something like, what's the reason you are the way that you are, or why are you doing the things that you do? And that kid may say something like, well, there was just kind of like how you said, I'll never forget this story. That kid may never forget that story. They may answer the question saying, there was one time I may have been going through something, or even if I was enjoying my day, I was just waving at, one of the people in the camp and he waved back, and, that day changed the rest of my life. So I like to think about things like that, man, just doing the little things, because the little things can go a long way. And I don't mean to get long-winded, but like, I like the word legacy, because I think with legacy, a lot of people think of it as just like, it's just one moment in your life that forever puts you in the minds of everybody forever. But, I forget, it's this book by Tony Evans. It's called Kingdom Men Rising that I'm reading right now. I've been reading it for a long time. I keep going back because I keep on stopping reading it and stuff. But something he said, not verbatim, but he was like, legacy is, just a bunch of little small middle moments in your life all piled up. And it kind of reminds you of that question too. Would you rather have $1 million now, or would you rather have a penny and it doubles every day for a certain amount of time? Because eventually it'll be more than just that lump sum that you would have gotten if you had chosen that other thing. So I think just having a bunch of small moments, and not saying you can't do big things either, but just having a bunch of small moments just compiling upon each other, that's what really builds up your legacy and that impact. So just, hearing you talk about doing the small things and just all of that, that's what's up, man. I think that is definitely going to carry you a long way, bro, for real.
I appreciate that. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But there was this one There was this one quote. One of the customers at the place that I work at, he said, "The little things are the big things."
Yeah.
And I swear that statement has stuck with me since he told me that. Just having those little conversations, like the little interactions, those little things mean so much more than you think they do. Like, honestly, like just asking a random person, "How's your day going?" Like when they're going through their monotonous day-to-day tasks, they don't ever think of someone asking them how their day is. Like, and it catches you off guard, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that person just asked, and they actually, like, even whether they care or not, they still asked. Like, they cared enough to ask. And so, like I said, those little things mean so much more than we all think that they do. And just stopping to have that moment of genuity.
I think so. I think that's it. Genuity. I don't know.
Y'all know
like that.
Y'all know what y'all know what's up. But yeah, just having that genuine interaction, even if it's a small interaction, can mean a lot much more than you think it does.
Yeah, and that even goes back to kind of how we started this episode off with just in school. You know, I noticed about you that you never thought that you were too big and bad to interact with some of the people that were, you know, first coming into the school with freshmen, sophomores, and everything. Even when you were a senior, you know, still kind of seeing you willing to interact with some of the underclassmen. You know, I sometimes saw you like dapping them up in the hallways, just saying, you know, what's up, kind of walking in random classrooms at times and stuff.
I did do that.
Yeah, I did it too sometimes too, just walk in random classrooms, as long as the teachers are cool with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think, just all of that combined together, man, just the small things, you know, that was that, like you said, the small, what was it again? The little
things are the big things.
Yeah, the little things are the big things, man. So I think that's true. And, you know, even because a lot of times the little things, it takes thought. Like there has to be thought into it. Like, let's say you're married to somebody and, you know, it's nice to go on an expensive trip and just take them to like Turks and Caicos or the whatever all those places are, right. Expensive places. But, you know, and not saying you should do this all the time. Definitely trips and vacations are essential, I believe. But at the same time, you know, I think it's always nice to maybe give them like a scrapbook or something, because that takes time to make, especially if you took the yarn and made it yourself and stuff. So yeah, I think those little things definitely do go a long way, man, for sure. But kind of pivoting, going back to your college days and everything. I remember there was a post I saw on Instagram of you in college, and you were introducing that you had just written and released a book. And if y'all didn't notice, it's been sitting here this whole time. Well, this is actually the second edition, the collector's edition. I also have the first one that you released as well that had it was like the road on it. Yeah. But it's called Look Both Ways Before You Cross My Mind. I'll make it like bigger so it's easier to see. But I guess kind of dive into this, man. Like what kind of led you to writing this? Was it more of was it kind of like a bucket list type of thing, or was it, you know, based on experiences or kind of what was going on? Kind of dive into what was going through your mind when you decided to initially write this book and then the process of releasing it and sharing it with the world.
Yeah. So I had been writing since I was like maybe 13, 14 years old. So I'd had these poems in like the notes of my phone for like years and years.
Oh, so these are...
Some of them are like when I was young.
Man, I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude, when I was young. But I had them all compiled up. I had let one of my friends read it during college. And just like after she read a few of them, she was jokingly like, "Oh, I can't wait to see this in a book, or I'll buy your book someday," or something like that. And I was like, "Yeah, all right." Like I just like kind of shrugged it off, didn't think she was serious or whatnot. She was like, "No, I'm being so serious." I was like, huh. I just put some thought into it. Then after COVID happened and we had that whole break from everything, I was like, I have some free time on my hands. Why not try to put something together? So I think I went through, I think it was Microsoft Word, and I had like typed out each and every poem. I had initially put it into chronological sequence, but then on the second edition, I split it up into different sections. But yeah, so I split it up. It was initially like chronological, but yeah, I just had those together for a while, and what was I gonna say? So the book was $20. The first one was $20, but I donated 60% of each book to the Thurgood Marshall College Fund.
Yeah,
And it's it's through Winston-Salem. It basically helps kids or HBCUs all throughout the nation with education and scholarship opportunities. But I would say I raised over $1,000 for that, and that was another accomplishment of mine as well. Just being able to raise that money, seeing how much people cared, whether it was about me or whether it was about the donation, just seeing how many people cared that much about what I had going on. It really meant a lot. And whether it was family, friends, people I didn't know, and the people to help promote it and like get the word out there for it as well, that goes along with, thank you for that as well, just now, but like beforehand as well, like just everybody helping out with that. Like it's not, I can't dedicate one thing to just one person, or I can't dedicate a lot of accomplishment to one person. Like it was so many moving parts that helped put that book together, that it just, like that support system, always the support goes back to the support system, having those people to encourage you, to give you those helping words that you, even if you don't think you need, or if you don't, how am I trying to phrase this? Not if you don't think you need it, but you do need it, if that's the way that I can't really try to, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't really like vocalize, not like word it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, having those people to help you out and then get it out there, it really helped. And I would say another main reason of writing that, and I think it's on the back as well, is just to like help the next generation, to be that person. Like if I can do it, you can do it too. Basically, like just having that. I wouldn't say being a role model. I wouldn't want it to be that big of a word, but being that type of impact on somebody. If there was one person that was willing to follow their dreams because I did that book, then my job was done. If at least one person did that, if I inspired at least one person, it's amazing. Like,
yeah,
that's all that matters, because that's all we have. Like, we can't take anything to the next life. Like, we can only pass on lessons. We can only pass on good emotions, different things. Can't really pass on the physical things.
Yeah, man. And that's kind of, to summarize, what you just said, that's kind of what I took away from this when you first introduced it to everybody, that word impact. 'Cause one, you had put your thoughts on paper and shared it, which, one, that's a brave thing to do, because a lot of people, they kind of run from getting, I guess, what's the word I'm thinking of? I guess vulnerable in that way. Yeah. So just that, and that bravery, that can definitely help somebody to, if Isaiah can do it, if Isaiah is able to just share his thoughts and, in the way that he did, I can do it as well. And then you had mentioned the Thurgood Marshall Fund as well, and that donation, it's the 60% donation to that. That's something that I appreciate as well. I mean, even the shirt you're wearing right now, I noticed it's the Support Black Colleges shirt.
Sir,
it's a nice shirt. I might have to get me one of those.
No, you do.
I have the, how they have the hoodies as well?
Yep.
I have one of the hoodies.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just like I said, I think this whole book has a huge impact to it, because with that bravery of just getting vulnerable, with sending that money over to the Thurgood Marshall Fund, when that's not something that you have to do, but just something that you chose to do, man, and just helping out in that way, I think that's dope as well. And even the title, look both ways before you cross my mind. When I first read that title, I was like, that's a great title right there, because something that, and you met him earlier, Pastor Bernard, something that he told me, because I've been getting into preaching as well, and something that he told me was, you kind of want to paint the picture and get people intrigued with what you're about to say. And so he always has a title for his sermons that's kind of like, what is he about to talk about? And so that's kind of what I got from your title, Look Both Ways Before You Cross My Mind, because it's like when you look both ways before you cross a street, because you know that there could be an impact coming. There could be something that's, so you have to be safe crossing it. And so when I read that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, what I took from that is that, we're about to enter into dangerous territory, but in a good way, though, if that makes sense. Right. So that's what I took from it. But I guess what kind of went into choosing that title, and how long did it take you to kind of come up with that? Is that something that you already had in mind, or did you have all of the stuff written down, and then that a combination of all of the poems and all that you had written kind of culminated into that title?
I would say, I'll be truthful about it, it's from a Kendrick Lamar verse.
Oh,
Look
okay,
both ways
okay.
Before You Cross My Mind. It's a verse off. It was the Untitled album, the Green Album.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was Untitled 3 or Untitled 7, one of the two.
Yeah.
But I specifically chose that one because I wanted people to get a different, be open-minded before going into the book. Don't think about this book's okay, about to read about this person, it's about to be one side, it's about to be this, that, and third. I can already predict what it's going to be.
Yeah,
it's no. Think about it twice when you read it. Don't think it's just it's not normal, but it's just not. What am I looking for? It's not. Think twice before you judge. Don't judge a book by its cover. It's basically the main what I'm trying to get from behind that. Think twice before assuming something about somebody, basically.
Yeah.
Think twice about assuming you know something about me before reading the book. And that's basically what it is. It was kind of, as you said, it's kind of like a warning, but in a good way as well. So, think twice, I can't voice what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But you got it, though. You understood it. Don't think it's already, I don't want to keep repeating myself.
Yeah, I guess don't project your opinions on the book. Instead, just take it for what you have made it to be.
Right.
I guess I at least I think that's how to word that, or
it's a hard way to think about it. Yeah. But I would say it's just don't judge a book by its cover. It's basically behind it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that because anytime I try to explain it, just goes back to just the repeating. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? What I'm saying? Don't judge a book by its cover. Basically.
Yeah. But something that I liked that you had in the first page. I'm not gonna spoil it. If y'all want this, y'all go get it yourselves. I'm not gonna read everything. I'm not gonna say what it's about. If you're interested in it, make sure you go ahead and get it. Do you still have the links and everything?
Yep.
I'll go ahead and put all of that into the description. Make sure you go check it out. Make sure you go support Isaiah. Make sure you read this book. It was really good, and it really opens up different perspectives. And this is my first time actually even hearing or reading, is it called the anthology? Or
Anthology, anthropology? Yeah, basically like a autobiography anthropology. Maybe.
Yeah. And that's the first time I had ever even, heard of that, form of writing before. So just kind of diving into that and, seeing how it was different from, maybe just a autobiography, kind of with the chapters and everything, just a general kind of story, reading it in that way, I think was very unique. But something that stood out to me, and this is the only thing I'm gonna read from this book. So, like I said, if y'all want more, y'all have to go check it out for yourselves. I'm not gonna spoil anything. All right.
No, Gabe. Tell them what's up.
But yeah, I read in the dedications and acknowledgments section that you said that your grandmother taught you and your brother listen twice as much as you speak because God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And I was like, man, that's good because I had heard that before, but I never really thought too much about it. But we literally do have two ears and 1 mouth for a reason, and then we even have 2 eyes and 1 mouth for a reason. So,
exactly. Kind
of just what made you put that in there, and what type of impact did your grandmother have on you in the culmination of this book, and just kind of the purpose and the direction that you took it in?
I would say she taught us a lot about manners, having respect, and respect is a lot of what goes into that. Like having that respect for a person before even like knowing what they have going on.
Yeah.
Having that respect for a person for just being a person, honestly. And that's one of my main rules. Like if you can't give anyone anything, you can at least give them respect as being a person and acknowledging them as a person. Like if you can't acknowledge somebody as a person, then that there's that.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. There's that. But yeah, I would say she taught us a lot about manners and a lot about like just the upbringing of just being respectful to anybody and everybody. And yeah, just going back to the 2 ears, 1 mouth, like there's a lot that goes on around you. So, and it goes back to that, like think twice, like observe more than you talk.
Yeah.
Observe things more than you talk. 2 eyes, 2 ears, listen more, see more before you just go out and assuming something about anything, honestly. And that's basically where that's coming from, where that's stemming from, just observing before assuming.
Yeah, and even going back to the title too, look both ways before you cross my mind. When you're about to cross a road, you have to use your eyes to look and see if the cars are coming. And if it's like, a turn or there's grass or a tree covering the way, you may have to use your ears. So you got to use those before you let yourself and the people that are behind you know, all right, let's go. So you naturally have to use your eyes and your ears before you can use your mouth to say, let's go. So it's cool how that all works together, man. But like I said, that's the only thing I'm gonna mention about that's within this book. Make sure y'all go check it out. Look both ways before you cross my mind. Link is gonna be in the description. Go support my boy. Go support just everything this book is about, because it is really good, and it really does kind of open your eyes and your ears to hear and to see kind of different perspectives and a different way, and just to kind of dive into, your mind and just your life and stuff. So I think it's really dope that you dropped this book, man. And kind of like what you were saying earlier with, maybe somebody will look at it and they'll be inspired to do something that they've been dreaming about. When you first released it, I don't know if you remember, but I had actually DM'd you. And I was like, man, this is so dope. Send me your Cash App so I can support and everything. I've actually been thinking about writing a book myself. There you go. Yeah, so I don't know if you remember that because it was so long ago. But
now that you mention it, I do like kind of recall it. Like if anything, I can just go back in the DMs and just like look, basically. But
yeah,
I do recall it.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, I was going to. I don't know if I should say this or not, but whatever. Who cares? Because at the end of the day, it'll kind of be like my thing, anyways. But I wanted to call it The Reclassified, and the reason that is, make sure The Reclassified, make sure you go check it out. That's a blog I have, The Reclassified. I'll put the link right here. Make sure you go check it out. I post blogs on there, just things that the Lord puts on my heart and mind to say, and I just write things on there. Make sure you go check it out, please. I haven't posted on there in a minute, but I'll start getting back into it. And if I see, a lot of people start listening to it, maybe that'll encourage me to put more on there. But you never know. But The Reclassified, make sure you go check it out. But back to the what do you call it? The regular services. But yeah,
I love how you just that just kept going. So that's the service. All right, we're good. I just cut it dry.
But yeah, I was gonna call. I was gonna call it or I still do want to write it and call it the reclassified, because I reclassified from the class of 19 to the class of 18, and that transition really kind of helped me find out who I was. Because, you know, in high school I had all my friends and stuff, which is cool and which is nice, but I was kind of living through them a lot, and so I never really took the time to figure out who I was. So, you know, I get thrown into college. I don't know anybody. None of my friends, you know, I mean, I had friends that were upperclassmen. Like I had you and some of the other football guys and friends and stuff like that. But, you know, I guess, graduation was kind of y'all's moment. It was kind of a struggle for me because I was like, man, it's kind of like imposter syndrome. Like, man, you know, even though it's cool to graduate early, it's like, do I really belong? Everybody was kind of taking pictures with each other. I was just kind of there. Just there. But that helped me, and that, you know, that's why I kind of branded this whole, you know, everything the reclassified, because that transition really helped me to figure out who I was, and that kind of birthed, you know, a lot of this stuff. And so after seeing you write this book and share it with everybody, it was kind of at that point, the reclassified was just an idea. But, you know, kind of seeing you do that, and, you know, some other things that were going on at the time as well, really kind of helped to birth that. And, you know, this podcast, even getting into writing myself, like I said, I do the blogs and stuff on thereclassified.com. But yeah, man. So, you know, a lot of the stuff that you were talking about that went into writing this book and wanting to help people, you know, it really does help, man. So, you know, I definitely appreciate you, you know, taking the time to just share that with the world, bro, because I think it is important. And I think, you know, anybody who reads it and takes the time to, you know, whether it's friends, whether it's your family, whether it's just people who may not necessarily even know you, you know, just kind of diving into, you know, looking both ways and kind of preparing themselves to dive into your mind and kind of what's going through and everything. I think that's really dope, and I think that'll help to encourage a lot of people to, you know, chase after what they would like to do as well, and to even, you know, share things that are going on through their mind as well. So yeah, I appreciate you releasing this, man, because I think it's dope. I think it's really impactful and can help a lot of people, man.
Of course. Hey, and I'm looking forward to the reclassified as well. I did not know that that was the title because of that reason. Yeah. But I really like that title because of that reason. Like, it was even though it was a reclassification, it was your first step to becoming your own person. Like, I don't know if you've already taken steps before that as well, but I'm just saying, like, your first steps of becoming your own person, creating your own podcast, your own blog, your own branch of who Gabe is.
Yeah.
And so I really like that title, and I really like the direction that you're going with that, even with this podcast as well. Like, giving people the ability to share their story on your podcast, like, that gives somebody a platform that they may not have gotten before to be able to voice how they feel about things. And it's always like a snowball effect.
Yeah.
Like, you will probably help somebody else that's like younger than you, maybe your little brother, little cousins or whatnot, whatever may have you. You will be helping somebody else that's younger than you, that's seeing this, that's watching this, that's hearing this, and they'll be able to venture out into their own direction, venture out into their own branch of whatever that they want to do. And I feel like it's very important for us as young men to do this, to have these important steps, because, like I said, we're establishing that foundation, that path, and we're being able to have people do the same things as well, like being able to voice their own things and go their own way.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it, one, and I appreciate what you're doing too, 100%, because this means a lot.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know yet, I know you're impacting a lot more lives than you may think.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
I appreciate that, man, because it's always good to receive that, and just to receive that encouragement, because it really is motivating, and kind of like, you know, what you were talking about earlier with that support system, and just knowing that I have family, I have the people in the church, and I have friends that, are just supporting, and vice versa. It definitely helps you to keep moving and keep you motivated and everything. So I appreciate that, man. And, I know we're getting a little close to the end here, but my last question to you, bro, is for anybody out there who wants to chase after a dream, whether it may be writing a book, whether it may be, maybe creating content online, that is giving advice or something like that, or just whatever they may have going on that they would like to do, even if it's, wanting to dive into being a teacher to teach the next generation or anything, man. What advice would you have for them to kind of just stay that course and trust the process in that?
First, I would always say, always don't let anybody else dictate what you want to do, what you feel like doing. If you want to do that and you have the right plan behind it, go for it 100%. If that's how you're feeling, it's your life, go for it. Make sure you have the right people around you. Make sure you have the good plan in place and go for it. Secondly, I would say, like we talked about earlier on, don't take them as losses. Take them as lessons, because they will come. No matter what you do, no matter what you go through, you will have things that will set you back.
Yeah.
And that's just a part of life. That's a part of living through those, getting through that, being able to, like they say, get knocked down and get back up. That's where the fight comes in. That's where the motivation comes in to be like, okay, yeah, no, I got through this. So don't take those losses as L's. Take them as lessons. See what you did wrong or see what happened wrong. Try to correct it, see where to go from there. Basically plan around that so it won't happen next time. And there's going to be many more. There will be so many times that you will be set back. But as long as you have that end goal in mind, the people around you have your plan in place, just keep moving forward.
Yep.
Keep moving forward, no matter what.
That's what's up, man. Like Nipsey said, the marathon continues, right?
Exactly. Yeah. The marathon always continues.
The marathon, and marathons aren't a sprint. It takes time. So, and it takes a lot of practice as well, because you can't just jump into a marathon. You got to go through the struggle, go through the all the grueling days and everything. But yeah, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate those words, man. Like I said, I definitely know that someone is going to listen to this episode, and maybe they're experiencing some of the things that you've experienced, that you shared today, man. Maybe someone has something that they would like to do that they're kind of unsure of, and maybe they just needed to see it lived out and see how someone is handling that to grow the what's the word I'm looking for? Grow their motivation to do it and everything. So yeah, man, I definitely appreciate you. Appreciate everything you've said here today, man. Appreciate you for being here on this platform. And for all of y'all that made it here to the end, I appreciate y'all for listening. I know that, a lot of these episodes, they're just so good. And I do believe that they're all going to have some type of impact on somebody, because I think there's always somebody out there who needs to hear your story. So thank you for sharing yours, bro. And it's definitely something. I learned a lot more about you today, and I'm sure that maybe those who we went to school with, they'll learn more about you as well through this episode and everything. So for everybody who's listening, thank y'all for tuning in. Once again, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, like the video, and just share what this episode, kind of what you took away from this episode. Share just how this whole podcast as a whole has impacted you in any type of way. I just love to hear some of y'all's comments and everything. We have a lot of people that watch the episodes but aren't subscribed. The subscribe to unsubscribe ratio of those who watch the episodes, it's not, come on now, just hit that subscribe button. I think we're at, come on now, just click. That's it. Yeah. I think we're at 94 subscribers right now. So I really want to hit that 100 point mark. So, let's just go and do it. If you're watching, just take a screenshot, share it with friends, family, anybody, just, support. I'd really appreciate that. And, like we said, the most important thing here is just making sure that, the voice of the Lord is the loudest voice. So definitely want to share that with others so they can hear that. That's the number one thing. Also, if you're watching or listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure you hit that follow button, leave a rating. I think there's a section on there where you could leave a rating of however many stars you want, preferably 5 stars. But if you think it was a 1 star, I won't be mad at you. Yeah. But yeah, and leave a review. I'd just love to hear what y'all think about each of these episodes. And even if you have ideas of certain things that you would like to talk about, different topics and stuff, I'm probably going to start doing some episodes where I'm just kind of by myself, or maybe have somebody back, maybe have you back in the future and have like a Q&A type of thing, have people send in questions and we could answer them and something like that.
That would be cool. I
think that would be really cool for sure. So anything like that, if y'all have anything, please just send those in. It'll be a great help, and I'd like to get y'all involved a lot more as well. What else? Don't forget about the Reclassified. Like I said, that's a blog that I do. I haven't posted on it for a while, but it will just be a great appreciation to support that and just to read some of the things that I've put on there that God's put on my heart to share, and some of the other things that I've studied and stuff. So if you're able, just go ahead and support that. That'll be a great help. Don't forget to support Isaiah's book. Like I said, I'll put the link in the description. And like I said, it's such a great book. There's so many gems that you can take away from it. It's called Look Both Ways Before You Cross My Mind. Just make sure you go and check that book out. Make sure you get yourself a copy and share it with your friends and everybody. And I think that's everything. But as always, thank y'all all for tuning in. Thank you, Isaiah, again for being here. And we'll see y'all next time. Peace out.